Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are doing well and good. So in our previous classes we have studied about nutrition in plants, and today we are going to start our second chapter, that is nothing but our nutrition in animals. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, nutrition is very important for all living organisms. Okay, yeah, what is animal nutrition? See, as we all studied in our previous classes, that all majority of the animals are heterotrophs. Okay, that means animals depends upon the plants for their nutritional requirements directly or indirectly. Directly means how directly they will consume the plants, or indirectly means indirectly how it depends upon the animals which depends upon plants. That means carnivores or omnivores depends upon the herbivores, and herbivores depends upon the plants. Okay, so what is animal nutrition? Animal nutrition is nothing but the mode of taking food. Okay, the mode of taking food and its utilization in the body is nothing but our nutrition. Remember this definition. Okay, and animal nutrition includes nutrients requirements. What are the major nutrients present in our food? They are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, water, and dietary fibers. And these you have learned in your previous class. In your previous class, that is sixth class. And also the mode of taking food, how they take the food, and its utilization, how they utilize. Okay, how they utilize. See, if you observe any animal, if you take you as an example, after taking food, what will happen to the food? The food will digest. So what is digestion? So first of all, what is digestion? Digestion is nothing but the breakdown of complex substances into simple substances. Okay, assume this is a complex substances. After digestion, what will happen to this? It will break down into a simple substances, like small one. Okay, yeah. So it is the process of the breakdown of complex food substances into simple substances is known as digestion. Yeah, if you observe the animals in nature, each animal depends upon different kinds of food, and their mode of feeding is different from another. See, if see here, you observe the table here. Yeah, here I have given many animals like snail. You see snail depends upon the grass. That means snail is an herbivore. It chews the food. Okay, what about human beings? We also chew the food. After chewing, we swallow the food, right? Yeah, and directly we will not swallow, but you should not do that one also. Okay, and ant ant depends upon both plants and animals. Okay, both plants and animals. Here please kind of food, not insects, and kind of food both plants and animals. You please write here plants and animals. This is not okay. Plants and animals, how they eat? They scrap the food and they will chew it and they will eat the food. Okay, eagle, if you see eagle, you must have seen in so many wildlife programs, right? How they eat the food, they swallow the food. And hummingbird depends upon the nectar. That means it will suck the nectar. And butterfly also sucks the nectar. Housefly depends upon the dead matter. It also depends upon the liquid food. Okay, and also solid food. Yeah, it breathes. The mode of taking of food by the housefly is known as breathing. Remember this one. And if you observe this mosquito and head lice. Yeah, I will show you the picture. If you see the mosquito and the head lice, they sucks the blood on human body. It is also the yeah. See what that means? I told you in our previous chapter, that is nothing but nutrition animals, we studied about parasitic plant. At that time I told you about head lice and mosquito. So these two are also are also parasites. They depends upon the animals. In this case, we are the host, and mosquitoes and lice are the parasites. Okay, they are temporary parasite, they are not permanent parasite. See, mosquito is a temporary parasite. See, whenever it needs food, it comes to us, and then it every time it is not depending on us, right? Yeah, it is also known as mosquito, also known as temporary parasite. Yeah, today now we are going to discuss about the digestive system in human beings. See, you can see the picture here. This is the digestive system of human being. See, you can observe many parts here, many parts, that is nothing but our mouth or buccal cavity, esophagus, the pipe. Esophagus is also known as food pipe. Then stomach, your small intestine, your large intestine, rectum, and anus. So all these parts are also known as alimentary canal. We can call all these parts as alimentary canal. See, if I ask you to write the parts of the alimentary canal, you should write these parts only. Okay. And now you can see some glands here. Some glands. What are they? They are our salivary glands. Salivary gland, our liver, and pancreas. Okay. So these are the glands, main glands present in our human digestive system. And see, if you see the alimentary canal, this one is known as alimentary canal. I told you, alimentary canal and glands together constitute digestive system. If I ask you to write the parts of the digestive system, at that time you should take care. You should mention both glands and the parts of the alimentary canal. If I ask you to write the parts of the alimentary canal, at that time no need to mention glands. Okay, please remember that one. Yeah, today we are going to discuss about the each part of the digestive system. That is first one. See, here we are taking food, right? How we take food? With the help of the hand. We take the food with the help of a mouth, right? First, in which part food enters in our body? First it enters into mouth. Yeah, we are going to discuss about the mouth. Yeah, mouth, and this is our mouth, right? This is our mouth. You can see here our mouth has different parts. The first one, first part is teeth. Okay, teeth. Okay, I am rounding here, teeth. And next one is our tongue. And also you can see some structures. These are salivary glands. Okay, so these are the parts present in our mouth. Yeah, we take the food with the help of a mouth, and this process of taking food into the mouth is known as ingestion. Okay, and also in our mouth we chew the food with the help of our teeth into a small pieces. And also I told you salivary glands releases saliva. The watery liquid present in our mouth is known as saliva. The saliva is released by the salivary glands. So while we take food inside and while we are chewing, our saliva mixes with the food. And also your tongue, see here, your tongue helps the food to mix with the saliva, and it also helps to swallow the food. See, we can't see, can you able to swallow the food by holding your tongue? Please try that one. Yes, obviously you can't do that one, because it is impossible. Without tongue we can't swallow our food. Yeah, yeah. See, I told you the different parts. What are the teeth, tongue, and salivary gland. First I am going to discuss about the tongue. See, tongue, I told you, right? Tongue is the muscular structure present in our mouth. And if you observe tongue, with the help of the tongue only we can taste food. Okay, taste food. And also each region, each place in our tongue has a capacity to taste different, identify different taste. If you see the front portion, suppose if you take sugar, the front portion only, it has taste buds. Tongue has a small structures known as taste buds. Okay, okay. See, tongue at the front portion, tongue has taste buds to identify sweetness. On the sides, you see here sides, it sides, the taste buds present in the sides helps us to identify salty taste. And this one, and in this region, taste buds helps us to identify sourness, and the last the region in this region taste buds helps us to identify bitterness. Okay, so these are the areas present on our tongue, okay, where in each region we can identify different tastes. Okay, and moreover your saliva, I told you, right, saliva mixes with the food. Okay, we are taking solid food and we chew the food and we will make it into a small pieces, and saliva mixes with the food. With the help of the saliva is also helping the tongue to taste different tastes of the food items. Okay, and also remember we can only swallow the food with the help of a tongue. Okay, so what are the different functions of the tongue? First one is helps us to identify different tastes, and second one is swallowing, and third one is tongue helps us to mix the food with saliva. Okay, it helps the food to mix with the saliva. So these are the three different functions of a tongue. Next you see the teeth. What are the functions of the teeth? See, in our mouth we have different types of teeth. See, if you touch your teeth with the help of your finger, you can feel the different shapes and sizes of the different teeth, right? Different teeth. Yeah. See, based on their function, we classify the teeth into four types. Okay, there are incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Okay, see, incisors present here you can see these teeth are incisors. Okay, incisors are four in number. Okay, incisors are four in number in both upper jaw and lower jaw. Okay, incisors are four in number, and you can see here this is canine, and this is also a canine. Canines are two in number in one jaw. Okay, so in both the jaws four. In both the jaws, how many incisors are present? Total 8 incisors are present. Remember, I am discussing the teeth. Here I am showing the number of teeth number for an adult human being. This is not for the children. Children, I will tell you. For children teeth, number of the teeth in the children mouth, I will tell you later. Yeah. So you can see here premolars. These three are molars, and premolar means the premolars present before the molars. See, you see here these two are molars, premolars, and these three are molars. Okay, that means five one side, five another side. That means total 10 premolars and 10 molars. Sorry, both premolars and molars constitute 10 teeth in upper jaw and also in lower jaw. That means total teeth in total premolars and molars in our human mouth is 20. So total, if we add, there are total 32 teeth in an adult human being, but in children only 28. In 28. Okay, because in children premolars and some premolars and molars are lacking. Okay, so you can't see the premolars and molars. You see these last teeth will develop only in your adolescence, only in your teenage. Okay, it will develop later on. Now we are having, if you can have, with the help of your finger you can feel that there will be a small gap. So this last teeth, we can also call this one as wisdom teeth. Wisdom teeth will come later. Okay, so what are the different functions of the different teeth? Incisors helps in biting and chewing, biting and cutting. Okay, and canines helps in piercing and tearing the food. Okay, here piercing and tearing the food. And if you see premolars and molars, we can helps in chewing and grinding. Okay, helps in chewing and grinding. Okay, yeah. And also one more fact about teeth is, in our entire life human beings experience two sets of teeth. The first one is our milk teeth, and the next one is the permanent teeth. See, milk teeth, in the childhood, children, small kids, they will be having milk teeth. and after attaining some age, milk teeth will shut up, and in the place of milk teeth, permanent teeth will appear. Okay, suppose if milk teeth shuts off, in that place permanent teeth appear. If permanent teeth falls off, no tooth will develop. Okay, remember that one. Yeah, next one is our salivary glands. I told you that salivary glands releases saliva. Okay, saliva mixes with the food. Okay, I told you, right, what are the major components present in our food? They are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Okay, saliva has an enzyme known as amylase, salivary amylase, AMYLASE, salivary amylase. So what will happen? This enzyme breaks the starch into sugars. Starch is nothing but our carbohydrate. Breaks the starch into sugars. So let us perform a small activity with the help of the salivary amylase. To test with the help of this activity we can find out whether salivary amylase break down starch into sugars or not. Yeah, in our previous classes, in your sixth class, you have studied the test for the carbohydrates. So what will happen whenever we pour iodine on carbohydrates, it turns into bluish black color. That means it indicates the presence of starch. Okay, indicates the presence of carbohydrate. So now in this activity what we are doing, we are taking two test tubes. Okay, in one test tube we are taking some boiled rice. Okay, we are taking one boiled rice in test tube A, and in test tube B, in second test tube, we are taking the chewed boiled rice. Okay, that means we will chew. What will happen if we chew? If we chew, saliva mixes with our food. Okay, so in both the test tube our samples are ready. Now what we'll do, we'll take the iodine solution and we'll pour the iodine solution in both test tube A and test tube B. So what will happen after pouring the iodine into the test tubes? In test tube A, we will see the bluish black color. That means it indicates the presence of starch. Here no change in the color. Here no blue appearance of bluish black color. That means it has no starch. That means what it indicates? It indicates that salivary amylase breaks down the starch into sugar. See, remember, your iodine acts only on starch, not on sugar. It shows the color change only on starch and carbohydrates, not on sugars. Okay, that's why in test tube B there is no color change. Okay, in test tube B, saliva breaks starch into sugars, so blue color doesn't appear. So this activity helps us to infer that amylase, saliva, and in the saliva, what is the name of the enzyme present in saliva? Salivary amylase. Salivary amylase breaks down the starch into sugars. Okay, students. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much, and this is your homework. You have to draw any labeled diagram of human digestive system. This diagram I want you to draw. So it is there in your textbook. Please draw that one, and don't forget to submit your homework in Google Classroom. Thank you so much, children, and have a nice day.